Again, this is your cool prof. Now, in this session, let me react to a video hosted by one of my idols. He was formerly a serial entrepreneur, a serial tech startup founder of several tech industries, I think more than 10, before he plunged into the academe. So he's now a teaching professor at the Stanford School of Business and several others. And he's a much sought after speaker in startups. Okay? I think I would love to call him the legend. Okay? So ito yung pangatlong Steve that I'm following after right now. So yung dalawang Steves, kilala nyo na yan. Yung bida ng Pirates of Silicon Valley, Steve Jobs, and Steve Wozniak. Now, this is the third Steve that I'd like to introduce to you, class. Steve Blank. In this short video, no business plan survives first contact with customers. Let us see and hear directly from Steve. Let's carry on.
So what we used to believe for strategy is that you start any company with an operating plan and a financial model. What's an operating plan? Well, it's the business plan. And the belief was all I need to do is spend a lot of time writing this plan, and then all I need to do is execute it. And somehow magically, magical thinking said if I thought hard enough and if I was smart enough to do all the great market research in the library and looking up all the data and then put together a forecast, the magic 5-year plan in the back of the business plan.
Okay. So what is he telling and what is he instructing us here? He's telling us the traditional way of starting a business. Okay? And what is this? Creating the business plan. But what he will be telling us will actually change the way you see and when is the right time to create your business plan. So, in this video, you'll find out that what Steve Blank is saying to all of us, especially to new entrepreneurs, okay, is what? Is to do something else before you do a full-blown business plan. Okay? Let's carry on.
Somehow magically, all I needed to do was hire the people to execute that plan. If that doesn't sound silly to you now, don't worry, because it didn't sound silly for 40 years. But we now know that's kind of ridiculous. What we now know is that no business.
So what he's saying again, huh? This has been the practice for more than 40 years. So this was written 2014. So that was sometime until when? After the war, 1960s, 70s, okay? When the MBAs was first created, the Masters of Business Administration. When you're asked to put up, when you're asked to put up your idea in paper, when you ask to start a business, you will be immediately asked to what? Create your business plan. And oftentimes it comes up thick like this, more than 40 pages, 50 pages long. And all the forecasts, the 5-year plan, the forecast of the sales, okay, your factory plan, your uh, management plan, how many people you'd hire, okay, the location plan, what would you put up to renovate that store, that physical store, okay, and then your financial plan, the 5-year forecast, 5 years into the future, which are actually what? What he's saying here, these are all assumptions. So which is better? What is much better to do when you're starting out a business? Let's listen again.
Business plan survives first contact with customers. The first year or so in a startup is completely unpredictable. What you think you're doing on Monday turns out to be completely wrong on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, you discover something new. And on Friday, you're almost out of business. But on Monday, next Monday, you get sold for $1 billion. A startup is an incredible roller coaster, unpredictable series of events that there's no way you could put together in a 5-year plan. Yet somehow investors and educators thought that maybe we could just teach you how to put this all together in a nice spreadsheet. No one ever noticed that the only other people to do 5-year plans were these guys, the Soviet Union. And we kind of know how well that turned out as well. Though, much like the fallacy about business plans and financial forecasts, that lasted for about 80 years. The good news is that we now know that business plans and financial forecasts first are just as silly as it was in the Soviet Union. So,
Okay, did you get that, class? He's using the pun of using the Soviet Union, reading 5-year forecasts. So this has been the practice since 80 years pa pala. Huh? Going back to uh, the obvious reason behind starting Masters of Business Administration classes. Okay, this were first taught in a Harvard school way back 1950s. Okay, so what he is saying here right now is that all of the things that you write initially in your business plan, pag puno na siya, no, kapal na niya, are what? These are just assumptions. Ha? Ibig sabihin, they're just good in paper. And it's not been proven at all. Kasi nga assumptions lahat yan eh. Forecast nga eh. Okay, did you get it, class? I hope you're getting this. This learning actually blew my mind when I got a hold of all Steve Blank's write-ups. They were just explosive and transformative. Okay, let's carry on.
no business plan survives first contact with customers. This doesn't mean we should
No business plan. This is number one, the key idea. No business plan survives first contact with customers. Why? Everything you wrote in the business plan will be what? Thrown out of the tables. You'll find out that these are not the things that your customer would need. Kasi lahat nga assumptions lang. So which is better? What is the next or what is the step that we need to take before proceeding to write a business plan? So there is a step that Steve Blank is suggesting that we do first before we do a business plan.
shouldn't have any planning, but it actually means what we need is planning before the plan. And
Okay? So this is planning before creating the business plan. And what shall we do? What kind of planning is this?
what that really means is you need to figure out how to actually do some planning and then you get to write the business plan. So let me be clear, I'm not suggesting we never want to do an operating plan, and I'm not suggesting we never want forecast, but you need some real facts before you could do that. And one of the ways we're going to organize our facts is with Alexander Osterwalder's business model canvas. We'll talk about this canvas in some excruciating detail in the following lectures. But you should know we use the canvas for two things. One is, initially, we're going to use it to organize our thinking about all the hypotheses about every part of our business.
So everything that we write in the business model canvas are just what? Hypothesis. Why? Because later on, we will get out of the building and validate all these things that we've written down.
Second is we're going to get out of the building and actually turn those hypotheses into facts, as we'll find out how to do later. And then, as we turn those hypotheses into facts, we'll be updating the canvas on a regular basis, and it will become a scorecard, a way to keep score for.
Are you getting this, class? The things that you initially write on the canvas, you will validate. So this is what customer development is all about. It is validated learnings. The things that we written out here, we get out of the building, we test, we go to our customers, the customer segments, or your target market. We get the facts from the customers themselves. So, tama, di ba? Which of you would want to choose? You coming up with the ideas, facts about your customer, or you get directly the facts from them by way of what? Conducting interviews, conducting surveys, conducting focus uh, groups, okay, and so on and so forth.
for our progress of how much we've learned. So, what this means is instead of writing the operating plan and financial forecast first, we're going to use the business model canvas to actually capture all our hypotheses first. For the search for the business model, we're going to start with the model first, and then after we find the model, we get to write it up.
Thank you so much, Steve Black. I just hope and pray that you learned a really big takeaway in this lesson. So learn more about this, go to Steve Blank's YouTube channel, or you might want to take his free online class, How to Build a Startup, from the Lean Launchpad, and you'll find that in www.udacity.com/course/episode 245. Thank you so much, Steve Blank.